Hey, Ross here with TrucutCNC, and in this video we're going to talk about how to use guides in Cut2D. So guides are going to allow you to precisely place various vectors. So the easiest way to get a guide going is to drag it over from the left side, or from the top. So get your mouse over into the ruler, click, and just drag a guide off like that. Okay, and then the same thing down here like this. Okay, now you can see that the numbers right beside there, you can place them that way. Or you can enter, if you left click on it, this box comes up and we can enter a new position, say 3, apply. We can move it that way. We can also add a new guide relative to this guide or an absolute position. So this one is 1 inch off. Let's say that we want to make a flange with bolt holes and a hole in the center. So let's say our flange wants to be 10 inches wide and we're going to have a bolt hole at 1 inch inside. So we're going to have a hole at 1 inch and then a hole at 9 inches. So we can go absolute position 9, create new guide. Okay, so that should be at 9 inches. And then the same thing with this one here. We can right click on that one. We'll say absolute position. Same thing as we'll put one at 9 inches. Create new guide. And these actually wanted to be at 1 inch. So let's change that to 1. Change this one to 1. No, this one up here to 1. Okay, so there we go. So now we can create a square. Let's create a square, and we'll create it 10 by 10 with our anchor point at 0, and we'll make square corners, create. Okay, so there's our guides. Going to allow us to place nice even holes. Okay, so now if we wanted to add another guide, we can just drag another one over for the center. And we'll put this one at 5 inches. And we'll put this one at 5 inches. Okay, now we can place our holes. So holes, let's create let's do a 2 inch hole, and we'll put that right at the center. And then we'll do some 0.5 inch holes, and we'll put them right like that. Okay, nice precisely placed holes. Okay, so now to get rid of the guide, you would just right click on it and say delete guide. You don't have to get rid of them though, you can leave them there. They're not going to interfere with other geometry or the toolpath. Haven't found a way yet to get rid of them all at the same time. So there's another way to create these. You can right click and say guidelines and insert horizontal or vertical, and it's going to bring up that box that was similar to what we just saw. Well, no, it doesn't. It just inserts a guideline apparently wherever we are. So let's see if we click up here, insert guideline, insert horizontal. Yep, so it's going to insert a guideline wherever we happen to be. Now the angled guideline is pretty cool, because if I was drawing a part that had a specific angle, I can insert, say, a 12-degree angled guideline like that. Okay. So one other kind of nifty feature about guidelines is, watch this. I can bring this, I'm going to bring this guideline down to 0, and then we'll right click to bring this box up. Now what I want to do is create relative to guide. I'm going to position the offset 2 inches, and we're going to do 10 of them. Now when I hit create guides, it creates 10 guidelines. Okay, now if I do the same thing on this side, two relative, create 10. Now we have a grid. So now we can use that to draw some geometry. And that's the basics of using guidelines. They're pretty handy for CAD drawing, especially since Cut2D doesn't really have a very good grid. There is a grid, and you can turn it on by coming up here to Edit, Snap Options, and you can turn on Snap to Grid right here. I have my Snap grid spacing at 0.25. Okay, one of the things I don't like is that the grids or the dots scale as you zoom in, and I don't really care for that. But it will snap to the guidelines, as you can see. If we say draw, see I have snapping turned on. It's now snapping at 1/8 inch intervals. Okay, I like using guidelines better. I think they give me more control. So that's guidelines, and on to the next video.